Good morning. It's Daily Dose with Dr. Lazar. And in our daily doses this week, we're sharing our stories of #but God, things that only God could have done. And yesterday I shared about God's provision when Carrie and I found out that Jaden was coming and Carrie had to stay or decided to stay home from work. Well, that story continues today, more about God's provision. And I really feel like some of you need to hear this. There needs to be encouragement about God's provision. So we're going to do #but God to keep the conversation going. Feel free on whatever channel you're on to throw some comments in the chat here for a moment since we're live. So I had worked for my dad's engineering company, E&D Engineering. Shameless plug here. If you need contract engineers or designers, check them out at eand.net, eand.net. In fact, I'm going to put that. That was unplanned, but I'll tell you, sometimes stuff just works out. If you're looking for engineers or designers, you can check them out at eand.net. Anyway, that's my dad's company, full disclosure. I worked for him for 7 years. I started as a recruiter, and then I moved into sales. And there were, back then, we would make phone calls. Every 7 phone calls, somebody would say, yes, send me a letter. And over the year between undergrad and chiropractic school, I filled 2 3-inch binders of letters. So that's thousands of phone calls that I made that year. The problem was that was 2001 and 2002, actually, I stand corrected. Well, as you know, September of 2001, planes flew into big buildings. My dad's company builds big buildings. And in 2002, 2003, nobody wanted to build big buildings. So here I am working full-time, making an hourly rate, no commission, because nobody's buying. Well, God used that, and I thought, well, this isn't going to be a good career for me. So I went back to I went back to school, which was to chiropractic school. Well, while I'm there, as you heard yesterday, we find out Carrie is pregnant with Jaden, and Carrie stayed home. As you heard yesterday, we got that first insurance check from our basement flooding. The first month she didn't have any income from teaching. Well, now what? Now that that check was exactly what we needed, we were encouraged because God provided and we thought it was great. Big time #but God. That couldn't have happened any other way. But now what? Now what are we going to do? Well, as God would have it, all of those efforts that I made, which I thought were in vain back in 2001, 2002, 2003, it's now 2005. And I'm in chiropractic school, Carrie's home from work, and we don't quite know what we're going to do. Well, 3 or 4 of those accounts that I had worked on way back several years ago finally decided to build something. And my dad graciously decided to pay me commission on those sales because he decided were my accounts since I reached out to them in the first place. Well, the commission that I earned on those was more money than Carrie and I were making when I was working full-time and she was teaching full-time. Now, that is only something God would work out. Some people think, well, our efforts are our own, or God helps those who help themselves, which is not a biblical perspective, by the way. But God saw a better way and said, you know what? I'm going to choose to provide for you in this situation. So that's my #but God today. I hope you're encouraged. If you're struggling or worried or in fear, know that that is not the way out. John Eldridge said in a conversation yesterday, I was very blessed to be part of that conversation, that if you find yourself stuck in a hole, the only way to get out is with love. So I encourage you today. I support you today. And go do what makes your heart happy and your eyes sparkle. And I'll be back tomorrow for another daily dose with Dr. Lazar. Thanks so much for being here. Join us Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern time for a webinar on what COVID-19 is doing to your health, how the stress of COVID-19 is negatively impacting your health. I will post some comments through these channels later today, and then on tomorrow's Daily Dose, I'll have those links ready for you. Let's take a look. Marge, his orchestration in our lives is beautiful. Absolutely. Marge, I hope today is a medium Reese's peanut butter cup blizzard kind of day for you. Much love. Hope you're doing well. I'll be back tomorrow for another Daily Dose with Dr.